Just 2 rounds remain in the F1 Academy Series. And first up, it's the challenge of the streets of Singapore. This one of the most challenging qualifying sessions our drivers will face this season on a weekend where we could be crowning our 3rd champion. More on that in just a bit. First, let's take a look at the challenge that lies ahead. 19 turns around the Singapore streets, and then that will set the grid for the 2 14-lap races we have coming up. There is a twist if you're new to F1 Academy. We will reverse the top 8 on the grid for the race tomorrow. A lower scoring points race. We should add 10 points go to your winner for that. And then when they line up on Grand Prix Sunday as they qualify, it'll be full 25 points for the winner. And that is what Dorian Pan, our championship leader, is chasing. She has a 20-point advantage over Maya Berg. If she can double that over Maya Berg and leave this round with a 40-point advantage over the rest of the field, she will be crowned the champion. But Maya Berg beat Dorian Pan in both races here last year and will be looking to eat into that 20-point advantage and take this fight to the streets of Las Vegas and the final round. 2 points immediately up for grabs in this 30-minute qualifying session, and here to call you through the action, myself, Chris McCarthy, and someone who knows about these streets. He's been out there before. It's Gary Pavitt.
Hi Chris, yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, as you said, a massive challenge for these drivers out there. As you can see, they've turned the lights on, they've turned the sky off and turned the lights on. We were looking at the footage through the day, and it was gradually getting darker, and suddenly it just seems to have gone to not complete darkness, but certainly necessity to have the lights on the circuit on it. And it makes a big difference to your references and everything that you've had in the session that was 3 hours ago in daylight.
Yeah. Well, new face for this weekend. We always have a wildcard entry down at High Tech, and this weekend it is young Lisa Billard, the French driver who competed in the rookie test. She has a big supporter in Esteban Ocon. She competed in that test, was 2nd fastest overall, and off the back of that she is going to be competing this weekend and was P6 in practice later. We also have Megan Bruce racing this weekend, jumping in for Ava Anagnostiadis, who has suffered a fractured left foot. We are just making our way round on a little bit of a warm-up lap, so whilst we do, let's hear what Dorian Pan has to say about warm conditions and training for the heat.
We have been doing a bit of heat training, not too much because I'm at limit in weight, but no, I mean I've just arrived on Tuesday, so a bit of time here before the race weekend to adapt to the temperature and to the heat, and then it's the body how he adapt quickly. In the car it will be very hot. The important is to get it keep hydrated during the weekend and to have good energy, eating well, and then the rest will be fine. It's not too long session. It's maximum 40 minutes, so it's going to be okay.
Dorian Pan very relaxed around the paddock this weekend, and we saw that earlier when she went fastest in practice. Everyone's going to be talking to her about the championship. Can she go and take it this weekend? Can she hold on to that advantage? But it doesn't seem to be getting to her at all. She's incredibly relaxed around the paddock.
Yeah, she is. She's experienced now, and she knows how to win in this championship. She hasn't been on pole position this year, so it'd be interesting to see if she can repeat the form that she had this morning in the practice session. But she's very relaxed. As she says, they do have to prepare for the heat here. It's kind of, high 20s, low 30s, but it's the humidity really which is the difficult thing. We've seen some rain early on in the week. There hasn't been any rain in any of the sessions today, which is good because that does make it a whole lot harder to get these cars around this circuit. But yeah, their races, like I say, they're on track for a maximum sort of 40 minutes, not the 2 hours that the F1 drivers are expecting to be out there. But it is hard, and on a street circuit, because you're trying to brush walls and the bumps and all of the different surface changes. You're working a lot harder in the car than on a normal race circuit.
Absolutely. We talked a bit about it in practice earlier. You want to build into the session. That's certainly the case you want to do here. Someone who will want to do that is Megan Bruce, because if you weren't with us for practice earlier, you wouldn't have heard her interview where she told us that on Monday she got the call that she was going to have this opportunity, and then Tuesday she found herself here flying over to Singapore to race in F1 Academy. What a story that'll be to tell one day, and this is just the start of her story in this series. Wish her the best of luck this weekend, and no doubt she will have a great weekend in what is just the start of her journey. Now, the most successful driver in qualifying this season is Chloe Chambers. Could do with a big weekend in terms of her championship fight. She's 34 back. You get 39 points maximum over a weekend in terms of points scored, so she really needs a big one to stay realistically in championship contention. Okay, first flying lap starting, Gary, and we follow Lisa Billard, the French driver, on her first flying lap.
Yeah, they'll just be getting the tyres up to temperature now, so obviously with the temperature dropping slightly at track, it will take a little bit longer to get the tyres up to temperature. We saw them doing quite long runs in practice this morning, just looking at, I think we're looking at race pace and then going out for a shorter run at the end. So it'll be interesting to see how many laps consecutive they can do on these tyres in qualifying to just chip away at the lap time. The lap times at the moment, 2 minutes 10, still quite away from the times that we saw this morning. Yeah,
2:03s we saw this morning, so we'll expect this to come down. But this gives us a view of the challenge they face around the streets of Singapore.
Yeah, as you can say, you're just getting closer and closer to the walls every lap you do, trying to gain thousandths of a second as you get closer. The other difficulty is that although you get closer to the walls, you're using more track opening up the corner. There is actually, the dust and dirt collects next to the walls. So if you do get too close, you can pick up some dirt on the tyres and then struggle at the next corner, as we hear a bit of a lock up there. Like I say, on the bumps and on the curbs and on the surface changes here, it's just a real challenge, as we see a message there.
That was Alicia Palmovsky. She's hit the wall. Oh, she's out. Alicia Palmovsky out the session. We have our first victim in this session, the Red Bull Racing driver, who was one of the quickest drivers in practice earlier. She was third fastest, half a tenth away from the time of Dorian Pan, looking like she could have challenged for her first pole position in F1 Academy, but at this rate she's going to be going from the very back of the field. That yellow flag could turn red any second now. Lisa Billard is going to come through the final two corners. Will she be able to sneak this lap in? Yes, she will, and she will go to the top of the times. Nicole Havrider second. It's whether Alicia Palmovsky is stationary or whether she's been able to get going. No. So it's all about when this session is going to come to a stop, because that suspension is broken.
Yeah, that left
there we go.
Is yeah, looking definitely not at the right angle, and we have a red flag eventually. I think they were maybe waiting to see if the mechanics or the marshals would be able to push that out of the way, but obviously with other cars on track, it's not safe for them to enter the track to push the car. So yeah, a red flag, and the qualifying time has stopped, so they won't be running out of time. The qualifying session will be the same length as it was at the start, so 22 minutes and 57 seconds remaining. So they'll all filter back to the pits now and get ready to go again.
That is a disaster for Alicia Palmovsky. It looks like she's hit the wall coming out of turn 5. It's around this Marina Bay street circuit. That's an incident we've seen several times. Ella Lloyd sneaked across the line just before the red flag came out, I believe, and that leaves her in provisional pole position at the place she made her debut last year. In terms of the wildcards we've ever had, she put in the fastest, the best ever performance last year with her 4th place. Now she's here full time, racing for McLaren and doing a superb job, 4th in the championship. And currently she leads the way. We are under red flag because of Palmovsky, and I think we're about to find out what happened. I think we can have a guess at what happened, but let's see it.
Yeah, here she is, just got a bit wide in the middle of turn 5, taking a bit too much speed in.
Yeah. I've hit the wall. I've got damage. I'm so sorry.
Hit the wall. The difficulty is when you go through a practice session at a circuit that is kind of green and it's a bit dusty, you get quicker and quicker as the session goes on, and then when you get to the next session with the cold tires and everything else, you have to have that bit of a reset, and sometimes you're inclined just to try and take the same amount of speed into corners as you were at the end of the practice session with the tires at the temperature were, and she's obviously just slightly misjudged the amount of grip she's got into turn 5, got wide in the middle of the corner, and yeah, unfortunately brushed the wall at the kind of wrong angle. Some of the times we've seen them touching the wall and the angle is okay and the suspension deals with it, but certainly that's not the case. And as you say, a real shame, because after the practice session there was 3 of them within a tenth of a second, and we said that, you know, it was very much looking like one of them would be the person on pole.
Yeah, she's a rookie as well, and the rookies have not been here before, with the exception of Ella Lloyd, because she was the wild card here last year. But Alicia Palmowski, Alba Larson, Emma Felbermeyer, Joanne Ciconti, Nicole Abrida, Courtney Crone, Megan Bruce, Rafaela Ferreira, drivers like this have not been here before. We should say Rafaela Ferreira did not set any laps in practice earlier because she had a technical issue. So any good performance from her would be incredibly impressive. And Megan Bruce, her session came to a bit of an early end after she had to have some issues resolved as well. But Ella Lloyd quickest. A shame for Alicia Palmowski, but her first time at the circuit, just trying to get a good lap on the board and finding herself out the session. She's going to most likely now be going right from the back of the grid in both races as well, and that's going to be a very uphill battle from her for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, as you say, as we said earlier, that you know, there's no DRS in these cars,
no.
So the race is, you've just got to get in that slipstream and have better pace to be able to overtake. So it's yeah, it's going to be a hard task to really score really good points in both races. But you never know, the weather may interfere with that. So yeah, let's just see how it goes. But yeah, definitely a shame that she'll be definitely starting from the back of the grid.
Yeah, well, another driver experiencing this for the first time, Rafaela Ferreira, in her first season of F1 Academy, in that same Campos Racing team as Alicia Palmowski, backed by Racing Bulls, and we caught up with her coming into the weekend about her first season in F1 Academy.
So I think for me this season is passing really quickly. It still feels I am in the first round in China, you know, and suddenly we are just in Singapore, it's just missing 1 round, so it's passing really quick. But I think I learned a lot during this season, a lot with the team. It's my first year racing abroad, and I think it was a really nice experience, and I'm excited to race here in Singapore and then in Las Vegas and finish. I think we start in a good point, but now we can be a little better from the beginning of the season, and I think this is the goal for these last 2 rounds.
Rafaela Ferreira, it's going to be a difficult task for her, but let's see what she can do. She's put in some good performances throughout this season. She mentioned that first round and made a great entrance into the series with 2 points finishes. They've been a little bit few and far between since then, but she did return to the points last time out at Zandvoort. The rookies will be looking to just try and end the season strong now, to try and retain their place on the grid for next season, as always in the feeder series, Gary, see this swapping around of drivers. If you're new to F1 Academy, the 10 teams, or the 10 current teams on the F1 grid, are all backing a driver, as you'll see by their liveries. And then we have major partners of the championship, like American Express, for example, who then back other drivers. But after drivers have done 2 seasons, which will be the case for Maya Verg at the end of this year, they will have to move on. Our champion will receive funds to go and race in a season next year. So we saw Marta Garcia race in Freca last year, and currently Abby Pulling is racing in GB3, where she picked up a podium recently at Brands Hatch, and that is the reward, that you go and receive that fully funded season. to go and compete at the next level after F4 into a regional championship. And that is what they're fighting for. It's either to keep your place on the grid or move on. And you'll know from having gone through that part of your career yourself that the F4 is such a key stage for a driver's career, isn't it?
It is, yeah. All the junior formulas are so important, and winning at this level really can put you on your way to bigger things. You know, through my career, I had to keep winning to keep the funding, to keep the support going, and that's very much the position these drivers are in. They need to keep doing well, keep winning, to prove to potential sponsors, to potential partners that they're worth supporting going forward. So there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Ella Lloyd there. Some fans will know this. She's probably been used to racing on tracks. She's been racing in British F4. Different tracks like Brands Hatch, tracks based in the UK, but this is a great experience in F1 Academy where they get to tour around international circuits, street circuits, be in front of major crowds with lots of eyes on them as they come into the paddocks. They're signing autographs, they are gaining huge following on social media. That for a driver at this level is going to be an incredible experience and platform to go and gain that sponsorship wherever they finish.
It is, exactly, and I think that for me the biggest thing that I had that experience when I was racing in Formula 3 is that you do your regional championships and you're racing weekend after weekend with the same people, but when you go and support a Formula 1 race, suddenly the eyes of Formula 1 are on you. You know, I've been in the F1 paddock as a reserve driver, and they all sit in the team hospitalities watching the races that are going on, so their eyes are on you. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for these drivers to show the people right at the top of the business what they can do.
And I'm sure when you're in that situation as well, you can see you've had your race and then you watch the F1 race, the motivation, the determination must raise even more as a driver when you're in that paddock.
Yeah, exactly. It's great to be around the atmosphere around an F1 race, as you said before, with all the fans that are there, with everything that's going on, the buzz of it. It gives you a real thrill, and like, you know, I want to be here. You know, this is what I want to do.
And I'll know from a fan's point of view, in particular, that when the support series come out, you stop what you're doing, you run to your chair for green lights, and you get ready to watch the action. And that's been the case for F1 Academy this season. You'll remember when they came into that grandstand section of Canada, there were cheers all the time, every lap, and Zandvoort. People were coming from all over Europe to get their only chance to watch them in action. We are seeing Aurelia Nobles on screen, currently going through her warm-up lap, and we caught up with her coming in to the weekend.
Well, I saw the weather and it's gonna rain every night, so I think the track will change every day. And it's a street circuit, so not a lot of grip. FP to quali, there will be a lot of difference with the F1 driving. So we will need to adapt very quickly, and yeah, we'll see.
How easy is it to adapt in a quick session? Is it only short sessions as well?
We have very short sessions and not a lot of laps, so it's going to be very hard, very difficult, but yeah, I'll try to give all the infos to my engineer and my mechanic, so they can, you know, adapt the car fast and yeah, do my work on track.
Interesting to hear from Aurelia Nobles. One of the first things as a driver, just to check what the weather's going to do throughout the weekend, and that will change things, because as F1 Academy, there are other support series here this weekend, but often you are there to be out on track before F1, of course, and you don't know what you're going to face when you turn up to the track.
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, you know, it's not just the weather and the rain possibly changing how the track feels. You've got, you know, the F1 cars going around on different tyres. You've got some other support series on different tyres. So every time you go on track, the track could be different to what it was like before. So it's a kind of learning experience. And because it's a street circuit, when you start the weekend, it has been a street. It hasn't been a race circuit that's had testing other races a previous weekend. So it is a constantly evolving kind of environment. So it's yeah, that's an extra challenge, and one of the, you know, kind of unique challenges of any street circuit.
Riding on board with Dolly and Pan, this is a great view. She's going to take us now through this second sector. And this is where it gets very, very challenging, the second sector.
Yeah, exactly. So turn 10 here, just pull it to the left, and then as we go to the narrow section, just over the bridge after this right-hand corner, just catching the curb there, over the bridge, and then the left-hander, turn 13, before the long back straight, which in a race situation is a great overtaking place for her now. Just trying to get on throttle as early as she can to try and build the speed down this straight, and then try and find a braking point down here. A little bit bumpy as she brakes. The car moving around under braking, but she's got 2 purple sectors so far, so looking good at the moment.
It really is. Maya Berg is through the first sector with a 37.8 championship-wise. We are keeping an eye on those two, and Chloe Chambers, of course. They are only 34 points apart. Dorian Pan, well, a pole position with her would be a real statement to start the weekend, and she hasn't been on pole all season, but Lisa Billard has gone to provisional pole, Nina Gaidman, and now a winner, of course, has gone to third, but to the top there goes Dorian Pan, 203.8, clear of the rest. Now let's jump on board with Maya Berg, who could be being slightly hampered here by Rafaela Ferreira through the final 2 corners. She'll grab a toe out of the final corner and across the line, but would have been a little bit delayed there from a Rafaela Ferreira, who's playing catch-up in this qualifying session.
Yeah, exactly. I think sometimes on a nice long straight, getting a car that close is great because of the toe you get and extra speed in a straight line. But certainly, yeah, the pace of Ferreira at the moment, just as she's still, as you say, getting up to speed, definitely would have held her up there. So yeah, certainly some time to be found. Currently sitting in P4.
Alba Larsson's had her time deleted, so shoots down to 17th, and that came at turn 4. So out of the exit of the first section there. That was on turn 2, sorry. So she's gone wide at the first corner.
Wide, yeah, exactly. Just, I guess, just run wide. One of the few places on this circuit where you can kind of run wide and get away with it and get on. Most other places you're either in a wall or having to do a U-turn to get back on the track.
Yeah. As we watch Megan Bruce, not her first time in an F1 Academy car. She was in the rookie test just a couple of weeks ago, but first time on a racing weekend. She raced in the GV4 Championship this season, so has been competitive racing in that and proved her talent in that rookie test. Let's jump on board though with the person who has been the most successful in a qualifying sense this season, Chloe Chambers for Red Bull Ford.
Yeah, a great first sector, purple first sector, and a personal best second sector. She's just over a 10.5 up on Dorian Pan's time at the moment. So let's see this final sector. She's only got 4 corners left. See if she can find a braking point down towards turn 16. Just trying to get onto the curb. She's made the apex, and all she's got now is the 2 fast corners at the end of the lap, turn 18 and 19. As long as she finds the apex of 18, she'll be hard on the power, flat through the next 2 corners, and this looks like a really good lap.
That looks good from Chloe Chambers. Is it good enough for pole position? Yes. That's going to be a 203.761 for Chambers. Dorian Pan is in the pit lane for her half-time break. Lisa Billard is up to 3rd. The wildcard entry, what a performance that would be. Aurelia Nobels wants to get into the top 8 really to be in terms of a reverse grid, and she goes to P6, so she's gone even better. At this stage, reverse grid pole for tomorrow would be Nina Gaidman. It's Lloyd 4th, Berg in 5th. Speaking of Ella Lloyd, has she clipped the wall? Oh, wow, that was where Alicia Palmovsky went off.
Very much the same thing, yeah, but she just didn't quite go in as hard. She has, oh no, just got away with that.
Wow.
Very, very close, but very much the exactly the same mistake, just not quite as fast, so got away with that one.
Wow, that is as close as you can get. Now, Lisa Billard, her first weekend, she is driving so well right now. This is absolutely superb stuff from the young French driver. 2nd quickest overall at that rookie test, and she's absolutely flying. The best performance we've ever seen in terms of a qualifying sense from a wildcard is P4. Currently she's P3, and she's looking like she's been racing with us all season long.
Yeah.
Joanne Conti just about to set her first lap.
Yeah, she looks really comfortable out there. I think we expect certainly Maya Veg to find some lap time down in P5 at the moment. This morning she was very fast, and I think that unless there's any surprises, I think it's going to be a bit of a battle between kind of Maya Veg, Chloe Chambers and Dorian Pan, really, but I'll wait to be corrected, hopefully.
Yeah, well, with Alicia Pomorski out of the session, there is an opportunity now in the top 8 for someone, isn't there? Because that would have been a space in the top 8. Someone can now fill that. Joanne Conti goes to 15th place as she heads over the line. Megan Bruce is doing very well in 12th, I have to say, given how late she was called up for this. She is being very competitive so far in the session. Just look back at Leah Block, who did very well here last year for Williams.
Yeah, nice replay of. I said earlier, I don't like replays of cars going slow over curbs because they it looks horrible the way it's shaking the cars around. But it just shows how well the cars and how well the tyres are built and the stresses that they go under as the cars. Go at the speeds they do over the curbs. And Dorian Pan out on track, which looks like on a new set of tyres. You can just see the sticker marks on the tyres. So this is her going out, getting ready for the second part of her qualifying.
Yeah, you can see by the graphic on the left, a lot of people are in pit lane for a tyre swap, essentially. So this is your kind of half-time break in the session as people come in to swap tyres. Other people have swapped tyres and are now on warm-up laps. So with that, let's hear from our championship leader, Dorian Pan, on what she has to say about this Marina Bay street circuit.
I like this track. It's very technical, very long as well. So to put everything together is definitely a challenge. But I like this track. I like street track. So I'm definitely fully ready, and I hope to do better than last year also.
I mean, it was 2 podiums last year, so she can't do much better. Do you like the track, Gary?
Yeah, it's a good circuit. I think, as Dorian said, it's a long circuit for a street circuit. If you look at the traditional ones, you've got Monaco, which is the most traditional and historic street circuit. But nowadays we've seen some other, like, you've seen Baku, you now see Miami, Vegas. Here, they're long street circuits now. They go a long way, and over a 2-minute lap for these drivers here. It's there's a lot of corners, as you said, to get right, to be able to nail that qualifying lap.
There really is, and for young drivers as well, you've worked with drivers coming through. Do you think this is a good track to test out drivers coming through the ranks as well? Drivers like Dorian, like Chloe Chambers here, fighting to try and get through into categories like Formula 3 and Formula 2.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's, you can gain a lot by just going to a race circuit and doing hundreds and hundreds of laps and just being better when you turn up for the race weekend. But you go to a circuit like Singapore, a street circuit, where you can't test. All you can do is go on a simulator and do laps on a simulator, but you can't actually do any more mileage. So it's a lot more of a kind of level playing field when you turn up at a circuit like this.
It really is. Ella Lloyd is back out on the circuit where you've got some people in, some people back out again, as we are doing tyre pressures down at Prema in the red t-shirts there. They know what they're doing at this level. High Tech next along, they've got Megan Bruce in the Takoya livery in the number 9 car. This is the Gatorade back car of Lisa Billard, who's been arguably the star of the show so far this weekend. I know we're only at qualifying, but P6 in practice, currently P3 in qualifying, and nothing to lose as a wild card, and she seems to be taking that approach so far.
You're saying nothing to lose.
I hope I've not cursed that.
I was going to say,
I hope I've not cursed that.
I think having a bit of a moment in a wall is something to lose. But yeah, I see your point. She's got her expectations and the expectations of her coming into this really competitive championship are high. It'd be a case of just get out there and see what you can do. And as you say, so far she's shown some really good, really strong pace.
Ella Lloyd comes in. I think that was Chloe Chambers sneaking around the outside there to start another warm-up lap. In the background, that is Emma Felbermeyer coming in. So top 8 reversed if you are joining us late in the session. Chloe Chambers is leading the way. Dorian Pan second, Lisa Billard third, Ella Lloyd fourth, Maya Berg fifth, Aurelia Nobels, Chloe Chong in the Charlotte Tilbury car, P6, then Nina Gaidman would reverse to pole for tomorrow's lower point scoring race. She would have a chance to add to that very emotional win last time out on her birthday. And then they would start as they qualify for Grand Prix Sunday. Chloe Chambers taking yet another pole position and taking the 2 points that come with it. Championship-wise, this is looking very good for Dorian Pan with Maya Berg in P5. Maya Berg really needs to improve that position, doesn't she? She needs to be in the front 2 rows.
Yeah, she does, and she's. They're all kind of filing out now. I was quite surprised that Ella Lloyd came in quite late to maybe change tyres to get out again with, you know, just under 9 minutes left. It's a 2-minute lap, so there, by the time you get a warm-up lap, you're only going to get, you know, kind of 3 fast laps. So yeah, really pushing it towards the end. But as the track rubbers in and kind of the grip increases as the session goes on, we are going to see your best opportunity of a really fast lap time is going to be right at the end of this session.
Yeah, that might be her thought process to be last over the line. Also about trying to get some space as well. We've seen Maya Berg suffer with that on her first run. Will that be something she can improve on in this second run? As we have a look with Dorian Pan, and this looks like we're going for it, so let's jump on board with her through the first sector.
Yeah, a little bit of a slide there through turn 5, I think that was, heading up towards the flat out turn 6, the longest straight on the circuit. Hard braking for turn 7, and she's just under 2/10 down on the quickest time by Chloe Chambers at the moment. So clearly not quite got the tyres up to the temperature they need to be just yet.
And she's approaching traffic in Emma Felbermeyer ahead. Just it looks like they're on different laps, but a bit of understeer there for Dorian Pan as she hits the straight now, makes her way down to T10, clears the traffic, and Dorian Pan still just getting through this section of corners, fighting with the steering wheel there. See how much input she's having to put into the car as we come into the next braking zone, and just about gets the car into the apex in time.
Yeah, it's a really busy section of circuit that from turn 10 all the way up to turn 13. You're always turning in one direction or the other. As she hits the brake now, and she's lost another 2/10. So as you say, I think just the tyres still coming up to temperature. So we could probably see an improvements on the next laps. There's a few green sectors out there, the first sector of some people. So I think the tyres are just starting to get to where they need to be for some of the drivers.
Yeah, none that jump off the screen, so to speak, but no purples. All greens just now. But let's watch Dorian Pan first, because right now, as I say that, Gary's just pointed out Maya Berg has gone purple, and there she is purple now on the bottom right. So Dorian Pan currently second. Will this be enough to go first? No, but crucially she went fastest through the last sector, so her next lap could be the one to watch. But this looks good for Maya Berg, and it needs to be in terms of her championship.
It does. She's, as you said, got some traffic on that first run. She's currently P5, but she was only a fraction behind Chloe Chambers' time at the second split. So let's see how she comes across the finish line. If this is going to put her on provisional pole, it doesn't. So second place for Maya Berg at the moment. Fractions of a second, 14 thousandths of a second behind Chloe Chambers, who herself is on a lap, but 2 yellow sectors. So again, I think the tyres still coming up to temperature for Chloe there.
Yeah, and let's see what Chloe Chambers does. She can only extend her advantage, she doesn't. So we've got the top 3 split by less than 1.5 tenths. Maya Berg has gone ahead of Dorian Pan, who she's trying to chase in the championship. In terms of the championship, we've essentially just reversed the top 3. It's championship leader Pan in third, Maya Berg is second, and third in the championship, Chambers is first. So we've almost got, from a neutral perspective, the perfect scenario. But Dorian Pan would completely disagree with what I just said, and she has been very relaxed this weekend in terms of that. But she's pushing very hard, isn't she? And someone else having a lock-up coming down towards turn 13 as we head up to 14 now.
Yeah. Dorian pushing very hard there as she comes across the second split. She's got a personal best and less than a tenth off of the pole position time of Chloe Chambers. So she's just been able to find some grip. Ella Lloyd there, 3/10 off at the second split, 2 personal best for her, so she looks to improve on this lap. But let's see how Dorian is at the last part of the circuit. Now finding the braking point for turn 16. Remember, she did a purple sector here on this sector on the last lap, so if she can keep up that pace, she could really challenge for the pole position.
Yeah, this is looking good for Dorian Pan. Looks tidy through the last corner. Will it be enough through the final sector to go fastest? No, she is not quicker. Emma Felbermeyer in the background is for Sauber. She goes to P5. What about Chambers? She goes fastest through the second sector. Ella Lloyd has gone 4th. Right. We're waiting to see Maya Berg. She's going to cross the line in about 5 seconds, and it looks like we may see her improve. Maya Berg looking very quick, and she's gone fastest. There we go, 2:03.453. Chloe Chambers next to cross the line. So Maya Berg is your new provisional pole sitter. Chloe Chambers will be next. Here she comes in that Red Bull Ford livery out of the final corner now. So how long will Maya Berg stay on pole for? Well, at least another 2 minutes, because Chloe Chambers has gone second. So we stay as we are in terms of the top 3. We've just reversed Maya Berg and Chloe Chambers. Maya Berg is your new provisional pole sitter, and she needed that in terms of the championship.
And it was an incredible lap. She found nearly 4/10 on Pan on that lap, which was incredible. Chloe Chambers put in an equally good lap, but still is nearly 2/10 behind Maya Berg. Really impressive lap. It's going to be very hard to beat that lap time, because it was really sensational.
Right, Lloyd is 4th, Billard 5th, then Felbermeyer, Larson, Nobels in the top 8. Make that 7th now. She's gone from 8th to 7th in the background. That is Bruce. And then heading down the straight is Leah Block, and she's now gone to 8th. That would put her on pole position for tomorrow. So a good time for Block. That knocks Sauber Larson out of the top 8. But looking at the sectors, it's Ella Lloyd who is improving on this lap. The rest seem to be having a breather before one final assault. So let's ride on board with the McLaren Junior.
Yeah, Ella Lloyd coming down here towards T16. She hasn't had a good middle sector there. It looks like she's still pushing for this lap. If she crosses the line in time, she might have time for 2 more laps. It's going to be close. It could be just 1 more lap, so this could be her last attempt at a qualifier.
Wow, Ella Lloyd. Good save in the end, but that's going to hamper not only that lap, but the next one as well, and that could be session over for Ella Lloyd. She might get 1 more lap, but I think that will be that, and sadly, she has disrupted any progress for Felbermeyer on this lap as well. So that will be something that Emma Felbermeyer will not be happy with, but Lloyd gave it absolutely everything. Let's have a look at that one again.
Yeah, she turned into turn 18, just carried a bit too much speed, got on the curb between the 2 corners, which got her out onto the dirty stuff out there, and yeah, really good car control there, because that could have gone horribly wrong at that point. So yeah, well done for keeping that out of the wall.
We've seen some big ones there before, haven't we? Drivers going into the barriers, right, left, good save. Okay, let's focus back on this fight for pole position, because it includes all 3 of our championship leaders. Dorian Pan leading that title fight, has now improved through the first sector. The Mercedes Junior making her way now towards this turn 10 section, but as you mentioned, traffic ahead.
Yeah, she's got Ella Lloyd ahead of her. As we saw, them 2 got involved at turn 1, and Dorian Pan she's going to get held up here, I think. I don't know how much she's been compromised. We'll see when she crosses the second sector line, but this is it's far from ideal for Dorian Pan here.
I think is she backing off? No, let's have a look. She's going to the outside, but that is surely going to ruin any chances. Yes, she's 7/10 down, so Dorian Pan, that's her lap gone. So it's over to Maya Berg and Chloe Chambers. Chloe Chambers, this could open the door for her to take yet another pole position, and Dorian Pan will now have to race to the line to try and get another lap in. Will she make it, is the question. She's got 12 seconds. She might just make it, but she's going to have to be forced to push again here.
Yeah, I think I don't think she'll make it, but it's going to be very close if she does.
Does she make it? I don't think so. No. I think she might have just got across the line, actually. Ella Lloyd has been shown as taking the flag, so Dorian Pan will get one more lap in, and she's going to have to go again. Okay, so Maya Berg, this will be her final lap, her final chance to improve. Through the final corner she comes. Will she improve on this lap? No. So Chloe Chambers, an opportunity has now been presented to her to try and steal pole position at the final corner. These are the two that have shared pole position this year between them. Chloe Chambers out of the final corner now can't improve. Dorian Pan did make it through the line before the flag came out, and has done a 37.6 through the first sector, which is a competitive time. So she has now an opportunity herself to take back pole position, but this is it. It's all or nothing on this final lap, Gary.
Yeah, it is. This is it. It's certainly far from ideal, because her tyres would have been in a lot better position on that previous lap. But as you can see, she's still pushing her through this really busy section as we go over the bridge, braking for turn 13, trying to get on the power. Let's see how much traction she's got.
She's now making her way down towards the...
And we'll look at the timing screens to see when she crosses. It's a green middle sector, so she's got a personal best middle sector, which, oh, she's just lost the rear of the car a bit there into turn 14, but she's still pushing hard.
This is looking good for Dorian Pan. She was just slightly down. She was 2/10 down on the fastest first sector, but she's made up time through the second sector. It's going to be all on this final sector.
It is. I think she'll struggle to beat Maya Berg, but she could grab second place here, I think, if she has a good last sector.
Yep, she could put it on the front row, and I think she would take that given the circumstances. Out the final corner she comes. What will it be for Dorian Pan? Yes, front row, and only 0.04 of a second back, and that's a big result for Dorian Pan. Prema Racing Team, they don't look that happy, but I tell you what, on review they will take that, and it's going to be pole position for Maya Berg. What a result for her in qualifying. She has had an absolutely brilliant season. It's going to be back-to-back pole positions for the MP Motorsport driver as she looks to chase down Dorian Pan in the championship, who's just qualified alongside her on the front row. Dorian 0.04 away from her first pole position of the season, but will once again line up on the front row ahead, will be on the front row alongside her title rival. That's going to be one hell of a race down to the first corner, isn't it?
It is. I said that Maya's lap was incredible, the gap she had at the time, but Dorian's was just as good as we saw.
Yeah, that was
a bit of a moment for Megan Bruce there as she came down towards, I think it was turn 7 maybe, but yeah, Dorian's lap right at the end, you know, with definitely not the best condition tyres, to be that close to pole position was an incredible effort. So yeah, I'm sure this sets up really well for the two races at the weekend.
It was incredible effort. Lisa Villard becomes the first wildcard driver of the season to qualify inside the top 8 as well. A mention for her. That's a superb effort, isn't it? She's going to be in the top 8 for both races. She'll be on the second row for tomorrow as well. This is Maya Berg coming across the line.
Yes, Maya, yes, that's all. Come on.
That was the most scary 20 seconds of my life. Thank you, guys.
That's back-to-back pole positions for her this season. And that's exactly what she needed to do. Out-qualified Dorian Pan, and she will have the advantage going down to the first corner. Got to say, though, credit to Dorian Pan. She had one final lap. She couldn't make any mistakes on that last lap, and that's a great effort to put herself on the front row.
Yeah, like I say, incredible to get that close with having to do kind of a double push, having to abort that lap, you know, having to push that hard to get to the line to make sure you can get another lap, and she only got it by fractions of a second. And then to go and deliver a lap like that was almost pole position was fantastic. So I think that these two certainly look like they're they're championship contenders for a reason, because they definitely delivered in qualifying today.
Maya will take 2 points for pole position. Those will be crucial for her in terms of this fight. That's what they were fighting for as well. So the frustration for Prema would have also been surrounding that, because those 2 points for pole could be crucial come the end of the season, and Maya has now taken that on 3 occasions. So a well done to her, and that just reduces the gap from 20 to 18, and those 2 points will be awarded when she lines up on pole come Grand Prix Sunday. And they'll be together as well for the race tomorrow as well, on the 4th row of the grid. So that's going to be one to keep an eye on. Not only the front row, but you want to keep an eye on the 4th row. On the front row, it's going to be Leah Block chasing her first win, and Aurelia Nobel's in a similar scenario.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great opportunity for them to get a win. But as you say, with Maya and Dorian next to each other on the grid, trying to score points tomorrow is going to be as important as Sunday.
It really is. Here is your result. Maya Berg takes her 3rd pole position, just beating Dorian Pan by 0.04 of a second. Chloe Chambers 3rd, your 3 championship leaders right up there. Ella Lloyd 4th, well done. Lisa Billard becomes the first wildcard of the season to be in the top 8. Emma Felbermeyer P6, Aurelia Nobel 7th. Leah Block will be on pole position for the race tomorrow for Williams. They come off the back of a great Grand Prix, and now they've got a driver on pole. Well done, Leah Block. Alba Larson 9th, Chloe Chong 10th, Nina Gaidman 11th, Joanne Ciconti 12th, Tina Hausman 13th, and Rafaela Ferreira. Well done, Megan Bruce. Great entrance into the series, and Crone Haverda. And Alicia Palmovsky is going to be going from the back of the field. She was one of the quickest in practice. That's going to be fun to watch, isn't it? Well, that's been practice. Ben Edwards will be here alongside Gary Paffett to call you through the rest of the weekend. Join them both for race 1 tomorrow from 3 o'clock local time here in Singapore. For now, it is goodbye.